What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today is time for another weekly recap video. Now of course you probably noticed that Andrea isn't here with me, and that is because today, right now, on the day that I'm filming this video, it's our regular schedule time, but I'm not at home. I am traveling. I'm actually at a small town about 1 hour north of Boston called Portsmouth, and I'm here for a meeting. And it's actually pretty good timing because it brings up something that I've wanted to talk about for a little bit now, and that is how do you maintain a fitness journey, or how do you keep on progressing when you have to go away from home and you're really going to get kicked out of your routine. How do you maintain that lifestyle? In order to answer that question, there are so many different variables that you need to consider. Things like how long are you going to be traveling for? How restricted are you in the types of food that you can eat? What are your goals? Are you trying to lose a lot of fat? Are you trying to put on muscle? All these affect how much food that you're going to want to eat throughout the day. And of course, there are other things like, do you have access to a kitchen? Can you cook some meals, or are you going to have to eat out all the time? And to tell you guys the truth, I really don't have an answer to this question. But what I do know is that I've had to travel already twice now during this 120-day fitness, where I have to spend over 2 or 3 nights away from home, and I've had to deal with not being able to keep up with my regular routine. And I want to share with you guys what has worked for me. Without a doubt, the hardest thing to think about is the food. Usually when I go to these conferences or events, there is an abundance of food. Like, you go there at breakfast, there's all kinds of food for breakfast. There's stuff for like a snack at like 10:30, and then lunchtime rolls around, and then there's a snack after lunch, and then we all go out for dinner afterwards. There is so much food, and it's so easy to just overeat and just overindulge yourself. In the mornings, you'll find things like muffins, bagels, croissants, all those kind of heavy carbs. And for me, actually, in the mornings, it's pretty easy. I do intermittent fasting, so I just skip breakfast altogether. And it could be a little awkward when everyone's gathered together at a table and everyone's eating breakfast. And I just tell people the truth. It's like, I just intermittent fast and I don't eat breakfast. And like I said, it might be a little awkward. And if you feel like that might be a little awkward to you, just tell people like, yeah, I just had some breakfast, at the hotel before I came over, and that usually works. I mean, people are usually pretty cool about it. I mean, sometimes you might get some weird looks from people, but I mean, just don't worry about it. Just do your thing, and let everybody else do their thing. But if you do like to eat breakfast, I mean, try to maybe stay away from the carbs, but you can always go out and get like a fruit tray. There's always usually lots of fruit that's cut up, like your grapes, your watermelons, your oranges. Much healthier to snack on those things than to grab those heavy carbs. Lunch is pretty interesting because sometimes I have lunch and sometimes I don't have lunch. Usually at these events, there's things like sandwiches and there's some salads. I usually tend to go with that, just have like half a sandwich or a wrap, and maybe even stick to like a vegetarian kind, and have some salad, and that's about it. I stay away from the pops and the juices, all those sugars, and of course all those snacks and sweets at the end where you have your cookies. I just stay away from all those things and keep it very simple. And if I don't feel like eating, if I'm not too hungry, especially since I'm not able to work out or go to the gym as much as I would want to, just because there's not enough time, I like to go for a walk, or just get out and walk around and explore the city, or explore the new place that I'm in, because I haven't seen it before. And that's a good way to get out of having to answer questions of like, why aren't you eating, or have you eaten yet? Now for dinner, these are where things can get really interesting and you might need to be careful. Now for me, since I do a lot of intermittent fasting, and oftentimes I won't even eat breakfast or lunch, by the time dinner rolls around, obviously I'm pretty hungry, and I'm not going to worry too much about what I'm eating. So I have no problems having like a steak with some vegetables, or even having something like a nice juicy hamburger, which I absolutely love to eat. That's not a problem. But what I do try to stay away from is having any kind of appetizers, and of course I say no to the alcohol, because that's just too much. I mean, you just think about it, where if you have like appetizers, you have some chicken fingers, and you have a big burger and fry, and then you down it back with 2-3 beers. I mean, that's just, it gets too much. And especially if you talk about having breakfast, where you have a muffin and you have a couple cookies, and then you have a huge wrap for lunch with some salad and a pop, and and cookies or a brownie afterwards. It's just so much food in one day, and it's just too much, especially if you're like me and you're trying to lose fat. So really, it's all about keeping it real simple. Stick to your plan. Don't overindulge yourself. Try to stick to the healthy foods that are offered at the conference, or if you're going out to dinner, stick with something that is healthier than things that aren't. Like, that having a salad is going to be better than having, mozzarella sticks, as an example, right? So just make those simple, healthy choices and do the best that you can. And if you're at a hotel, I mean, most hotels now have a gym, so don't be afraid to head to the gym first thing in the morning or before you go to bed or whatever time works for you. Just make sure you get out there and keep on your exercise, because that is really, really important. So last thing to talk about, of course, is stats for the week. Now Andrea sent me her stats and they are pretty much the same as last week, which is really good. She's doing a very good job, of course, of maintaining her levels, which is awesome. And for me, I lost a little bit more than half a centimeter around my waist, and I've lost about 3 pounds or so this past week, bringing me just over 180 pounds so far. And I think that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you back here for another video on Wednesday. See you then.